Thursday, the 29th of January 2026. Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to the 6:30 p.m. News Live from Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital. In our top stories tonight, hundreds of Nigerian refugees living in Cameroon have returned to their country after 11 years. They left the Minawawo refugee center in the far north region of Cameroon on January 27. Their return follows a tripartite agreement between the governments of Cameroon, Nigeria, and the United Nations Refugee Agency. And in sports tonight, what should have been a celebration of African football glory has instead ended in a record-breaking punishment as the Confederation of African Football delivers heavy sanctions to both Senegal and Morocco after controversy and misconduct rocked the final of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final in Rabat, Morocco. These are the stories that will lead us on the 6:30 p.m. news. Details after this break. Thank you for joining us on this rendezvous of information. My name is Fabrice Ketinga, and we are live from Yaoundé. To open the news, often little known to the general public, the Cameroon Debt Recovery Corporation nonetheless plays a strategic role in mobilizing public resources tasked with recovering debt owed to the state, public institutions, and certain banks. The DRC relies on proven expertise and specific legal powers to carry out its mission. An insight look on the key mechanisms of the public finance. Jackie Yebele.
Every franc counts. For the state of Cameroon, the effective recovery of state receivables has become a major issue of financial governance. It is within this framework that the Debt Recovery Corporation, DRC, operates, serving as the state's operational arm in the public debt recovery. Created to address a specific challenge, the DRC has gradually established itself as a specialized institution equipped with strong technical and legal expertise in the field of debt recovery.
SRC has some traditional missions which concern the bank and commercial recovery since more than 4 decades now. Then we have some new missions. The one that has been put in place since I think 2020 with the modification of our decree. We have judicial asset recovery. To make it clear, all those who have been sentenced in court and the state has some, in favor of the state, we have the duty to recover those assets, not only in Cameroon but around the world.
This expertise enables the DRC to handle sensitive cases, sometimes long-standing and often complex, yet crucial to public treasury management. At the core of the DRC's missions lies a central objective to convert theoretical claims into actual revenue for the state, thereby strengthening public finances and supporting the implementation of government policies. A demanding and methodical field operation combining negotiation, legal enforcement, and rigorous administrative follow-up. To ensure the effectiveness of this mandate, the Debt Recovery Corporation, DRC, is vested with specific powers derived from public authority, in particular the treasury privilege.
Mechanisms that we put in place to recover those assets. I think that's what we can say. As from now, SSC, as far as judicial recovery are concerned, we have many property around the world that we have seized, that have been confiscated. We have plantations, you have commercial that we have seized, and we have some bank account that have been seized. So that's what we can say about our work here. We are on the field, we are on the ground. We have personnel and material to carry out our mission, daily mission.
This legal and operational prerogative enabled the DRC to position itself as a central player in the national debt recovery framework, capable of acting swiftly where conventional procedures often fall short. Proven expertise, a strategic mandate, and special enforcement powers all explain why the DRC remains a key actor in the recovery of state receivables. At a time of public finance rationalization, placing trust in the DRC also means strengthening the state's capacity to mobilize resources and sustainably finance public policies.
And after some 11 years from their home, some Nigerian refugees living in Cameroon at the Minawawo refugee camp in the far north region of Cameroon have returned to their country. These Nigerians fled their country going to the security challenges imposed by the Boko Haram insurgency in the Lake Chad Basin. This follows a tripartite agreement between the governments of Cameroon, Nigeria, and the United Nations Refugee Agency, as we share in the following report. At least 297 Nigerian refugees have voluntarily returned home from the Minawawo refugee camp in Cameroon's far north region as part of a broader repatriation effort involving thousands of displaced persons. The latest movement marks a new phase in ongoing efforts by both Nigeria and Cameroon to support safe and dignified returns. The refugees departed Minawawo camp on January 27 aboard 5 buses heading back to Nigeria after 11 years of displacement caused by the Boko Haram violence in the Lake Chad Basin. This group is part of a larger plan to repatriate more than 3,000 Nigerian refugees currently sheltering in Cameroon. The returnees in this first batch, made up of 75 households, are resettling in Gwaza local government area of Borno State in northeastern Nigeria. The operation officially launches the 4th phase of a voluntary repatriation program supported by the governments of Cameroon and Nigeria, alongside the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Officials from both countries attended the departure ceremony at Minawawo. Far North Governor Mijidiawa Bakari praised the cooperation between the two nations and humanitarian partners, expressing hope that these returnees will successfully rebuild their lives back home. The repatriation follows a December visit to the camp by the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, who assured refugees that his administration is committed to ensuring safe, voluntary and dignified returns. Minawawo camp, located about 70 kilometers from the Nigerian border, was opened in 2013 as a temporary shelter for people fleeing insurgency attacks. But more than a decade later, the site remains operational and overcrowded. With the camp population now exceeding 70,000, humanitarian agencies warn that pressure on food supplies, health care, and education services continues to grow, making long-term solutions increasingly urgent. Authorities say further voluntary returns are expected in the coming weeks as coordination between both countries and aid agencies continue. Let's now have the reactions of the representative of the governor of the Far North region and the governor of Borno State, as well as the representative of the United Nations Refugee Agency in the following excerpt.
Well, in accordance with the tripartite agreement and the technical working group agreement, and our main duty as Nigerian officials will commence when they cross our border. We are ready for them.
We are here on the esteemed instructions of the governor of the Far North region to ensure the smooth operation from beginning to the end. The relationship between the refugees that have been living in the camp of Minawawo and the locals have been very smooth. There had been no hitch.
They will be going home, and we hope we are prepared, government of Cameroon, government of Nigeria and UNHCR, to ensure they repatriate in safety and dignity.
On to something else, lawyers in Bamenda have signed a communique, and the communique announced that the consultation fee of 100,000 francs for all prospective clients effective immediately. This decision was taken on January 23, 2026 and applies to all advocates residents in the region. The fee which must be received is the minimum amount and can be negotiated upwards depending on the complexity of the case. It should be noted that the minimum amount used to be 50,000 francs CFA. The notice was signed by Nje Jude Mokom Esquire, the bar president special delegate in the Northwest region. However, this does not apply to companies where their consultation fee is expected to go higher. We stay in Bamenda, where the administrative authorities of Mezam Division, precisely the Senior Divisional Officer for Mezam, Simon Emimo, has issued an ultimatum to all 3 mayors in Bamenda to ensure that the city is clean before the celebration of the 11th of February, which is known as a Youth Day. The Senior Divisional Officer was speaking during an enlarged meeting in Bamenda, as Micheline Bilowa tells us.
The call was made today, January 29, 2026, as the Senior Divisional Officer for Mezam, Simon Emil Mo, convened mayors of the Bamenda municipalities to chart urgent measures for waste collection and disposal. The meeting follows recent directives from the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, urging local councils to step up sanitation efforts in Cameroon cities. During the meeting, the Senior Divisional Officer instructed municipal authorities to immediately put in place effective waste collection strategies aimed at restoring cleanliness across the city of Bamenda. A firm deadline has been set. Council authorities have until February 5, 2026 to ensure that accumulated waste is cleared from streets and public spaces. The administration says the move is intended to protect public health, improve the city's image, and enforce accountability at the
Thank you, Michelle. Health, they say, is worth. And to Limbe, now in the southwest region of Cameroon, where members of the Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists are meeting in Limbe beginning today for the annual General Assembly. Top on the agenda will be the review and the adoption of the new Kamasesh calendar. The 3-day gathering serves as a platform to unite journalists of the English-speaking extraction in Cameroon. Details in the following report. Of English-speaking journalists, or Kamasesh, will hold its annual General Assembly in the seaside resort city of Limbe from Thursday, January 29 to Saturday, January 31, 2026. According to organizers, this year's assembly will focus on the review and adoption of the association's constitution, which aims to strengthen internal governance and professional standards among English-language journalists in Cameroon. The event will also feature the Kamasesh Award, recognizing journalists who have excelled in reporting, investigative work and ethical journalism. A gala football match and other social activities are also scheduled as part of the 3-day program, providing opportunities for networking and camaraderie among media professionals. This year, the assembly has been organized under the theme, United in Purpose, Shaping Tomorrow's Journalism Today. Organizers say the theme reflects the collective desire to foster unity, professional development and innovation in Cameroonian journalism. Kamasesh officials believe the gathering would not only celebrate achievements in the media industry, but also chart a roadmap for the future, particularly in promoting high standards, accountability and ethical reporting. Journalists from across the country are expected to attend, making this one of the most important professional gatherings of the year for the English language media sector in Cameroon. For Kamasesh, the assembly is more than a meeting. It is a platform for collaboration. For Kamasesh, the assembly is more than a meeting. It is a platform for collaboration, learning and planning, aimed at shaping the future of journalism in Cameroon and ensuring that the profession remains vibrant, credible, and united. The Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists was created in 1995 to bring together English-language journalists across Cameroon. The association serves as a professional body that advocates for media freedom, ethical journalism, and the development of journalists. Over the years, Kamasesh has grown in membership and influence, becoming a key platform for training, networking, and recognizing journalistic excellence, including through its annual awards and general assemblies. Now let's talk something else. The devastating consequences of hard drugs in our society, which is ravaging the lives of young Cameroonians, has caught the attention of Cameroonian blogger and social media influencer Timbung Jones, who has called on administrative and municipal authorities in the southwest region of Cameroon to launch a crackdown on hard drug suppliers in the region. The blogger laments that hard drugs is destroying Cameroonian youth at a time when administrative and municipal authorities are watching. Let's have an excerpt.
Police arrest most of these drug addicts all the time. Yet the problem is not those addicts. The problem is drug dealers, suppliers. The people supplying the drugs into our society, they are the main problem here, because you take a man who is already an addict, you go, you keep him in cell maybe for 2-3 days, you take 25,000 from him, you release him back into this. You have solved nothing. Nothing has been solved. Okay, now you come every day to where they take these drugs, you arrest those consumers, and then you leave the supplier. Why? Because it has been noticed that most of these suppliers, they pay these law enforcement officers. Yeah, they pay their dues. That is why they have started now operating like it's official, like nothing is happening. So what I am here to do is I am calling on these authorities to launch a crackdown. Launch a crackdown on this. I know that maybe the police officers may be benefiting, some commissioners may be benefiting, but I don't believe that the mayor lacks money such that he will get down to this level of feeding from drug dealers. I don't think that the governor lacks money such that he will come down to the level of benefiting from drug dealers. I don't think that the governor lacks money such that he will have to start feeding from drug dealers. You people can do something. If you don't do something, I don't know who else. Or what should we say? Who else should we turn to? Who should we run to? I am pleading on you to launch a crack drug dealers. Whatever. I understand those are some people's parents and what. But you must not do illegal business. You must not destroy the society to build whatever you want to build or to make a life. That is not acceptable. I am saying this. I know this message is going to get to these authorities. I know they may.
This news comes to you from the Central News Desk of B News 1 in Yaoundé, and it is a 6:30 p.m. news. Let's now cross the borders and to Mozambique, where a growing humanitarian crisis is rocking that country, and it has been identified, it has intensified by climate change. Scientists describe the floods that befell the nation as an abnormal disaster that has displaced hundreds of thousands of people. Elsewhere, heavy gunfire and explosions rocked Niger's capital overnight as shots were fired near Miami's International Airport, a highly sensitive military site. We have a compilation of the foreign news roundup with Benjamin Afanu.
At least 103 people have been confirmed dead and more than 650,000 people have been forced from their homes. Search and rescue operations continue across Mozambique after weeks of intensified and relentless rainfall triggered devastating flood, submerging homes, farmlands and infrastructure. Rescue teams are still struggling to reach many affected communities. According to Action Aid Mozambique, entire areas remain cut off, with some locations accessible only by boat after flooding water washed away major roads. Nearly 100,000 displaced people are now living in temporary camps where aid groups warn of a growing risk of cholera and other waterborne diseases. Scientists say climate change played a major role in worsening the disaster. A study by Weather Attribution found that parts of Southern Africa received an entire year's worth of rain in just 10 days, an extreme event rarely seen in historic records. Experts warn this is a glimpse of the future. What was once considered a once-in-50 years event is now becoming more frequent and more destructive. According to researchers, the heavy rains were intensified by both human-caused climate change and the La Nina weather pattern, now operating in a much warmer atmosphere. Heavy gunfire and explosions erupted shortly after midnight this Thursday near Niger's main international airport in the capital, Niamey, causing panic amongst residents before the situation calmed within 2 hours. Witnesses living near the Diary Hamani International Airport reported intense shooting and loud explosions, while video filmed by residents showed flashes of light in the sky and large fire near the airport complex. The cause of the fire remains unclear, and authorities have not confirmed whether there were any casualties, as no official statement has yet been released. The airport is a highly sensitive security site housing an Air Force base, and serving as the headquarters of a joint military force involving Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. It is located about 10 kilometers from the presidential palace. Niger has been under military rule since a 2023 coup led by General Abdurrahman Tiani. Since taking power, the junta has expelled French and US forces and formed a regional security alliance. The country continues to face frequent jihadist attacks.
Let's now talk sports in this newscast. What should have been a celebration of African football glory has instead ended in a record-breaking punishment as the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has delivered heavy sanctions to both Senegal and Morocco after controversy and misconduct rocked the AFCON final in Rabat. What are these sanctions about is the focus of the report up next. The Confederation of African Football has delivered one of its most significant disciplinary rulings in recent history, following chaotic scenes at the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 final in Rabat. Senegal, who lifted the trophy with a 1-0 extra time victory, and host nation Morocco have both been hit with heavy sanctions after protests, misconduct and breaches of CAF disciplinary code marked the showbiz event. At the center of the sanction is the head coach of the Senegalese national team, Papi Bouna Thiaw, who has been suspended for 5 official CAF matches and fined $100,000 for unsporting conduct and actions that brought the game into disrupt when he led his team off the pitch in protest of a late VAR penalty decision. Two of Senegal's star players, Iliman Ndiaye and Ismaïla Sarr, have each received 2 match bans for unsporting behavior towards match officials, with the Senegalese Football Federation fined a total of $615,000. Morocco has also been sanctioned. Defender Achraf Hakimi was suspended for 2 CAF matches, though one of those is suspended on probation for 1 year, and midfielder Ismail Saibari has been banned for 3 matches and fined $100,000 for unsporting conduct during the final. The Royal Moroccan Football Federation faces fines totaling $315,000, including $200,000 for inappropriate behavior by stadium ball boys, $100,000 for players and staff invading the VAR review area and obstructing the referee, and $15,000 for fans using lasers in the stands. In addition to the sanctions, CAF has dismissed Morocco's formal protest seeking to have Senegal strip off the AFCON title, ruling that Senegal's return to the field and completion of the match validates the 1-0 result. CAF re-emphasized that all bans apply to CAF competitions only and do not impact involvement in FIFA World Cup qualifiers or other global events. The decision closed a turbulent chapter in African football while underlining the governing body's commitment to reinforcing discipline, respect for officials, and the integrity of its flagship tournament, the Africa Cup of Nations. That's the end of the English news on B News 1. Fabiola Chama will be here at 7:30 p.m. for the news in the French language. On behalf of the entire team in Yaoundé, my name is Fabrice Kedzinga, and God bless Cameroon. Good night.